What's up, Survivor Nation? And welcome to the Dome Patrol United Survivor Finale Winners at War Jeff's Garage podcast. I am coming to you live from the set of Tribal Council. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty dark out here. We got Jason coming to you from the special Survivor set that was crafted. I think they shipped it to you.
I snuck into where the live reunion show was going to be while nobody was looking, and I'm just kind of set up shop in front of the sign. Yeah.
All right, and Scott, looks like you're at Denise's house.
I am. That's Denise right there. See the hair? See how bad that hair is right there? That's where I am. Me and Denise are chilling.
All right,
Mama D, me and Mama D hanging out.
let her have it.
Let her have it.
All right, and we got people watching on the Facebooks, right? Am I right about that? So if you're watching on Facebook, say hi. And this is the Survivor Winners at War Season 40 finale episode for the Dome Patrol United podcast. Let's start. We all watched it. What'd you get out of it?
You shouldn't disrespect women.
Is that your takeaway from the whole thing?
That's what I got of it.
All right.
No.
It was a satisfying conclusion. At least we didn't get Michelle winning it.
I was really hoping she would, just to piss Jeff off.
Thank God.
I mean, she didn't even get one vote, poor girl.
Yeah.
She didn't deserve a vote. She didn't deserve to be there.
I mean,
I was like, if
look,
she wins it
she
again-
made it to the end, man. I mean,
She made it to, anybody who makes it to the end of this season deserves to be there. I don't care what you say.
She played twice and never got voted out.
But the only
you know?
reason she got to where she got was because nobody even knew she was playing the game. And I mean, sure, you could
No.
argue
Hold
that
on,
they
she
were
won a
playing-
couple of immunity
She
challenges.
won a couple of immunity challenges that people wanted to kick her off, and she won immunity challenges.
I think they wanted to kick her off because they were tired of her annoyingness.
You were tired of her annoying.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
wanted to kick her off.
And that was your pick to win. I don't understand what's going on.
That's my-
right? At least
That
she
was
made the
to
final
make sure
three.
she lost.
Mhm.
All right, so jam-packed episode started out with Jeff in his garage saying there would not be a reunion show. I don't know why they brought all the contestants in on Zoom to show you them on Zoom to say that's it for them.
And then not go back. I mean, that's really the huge drawback to what happened. The fact that we couldn't get any kind of live reunion, because to me, this probably would have been the best live reunion in a long time, and it just kind of sucks the way it worked out.
I agree. And then I wouldn't mind if they didn't come back and do a reunion whenever they're allowed to reconvene.
They probably won't.
No, it'll be past. It'll be past.
Yeah,
that point,
they'll
at
be
that
moving
point.
on.
So maybe could they not have done a Zoom call and posted it to CBS.com and let you go watch it?
Yeah,
Right, like that's what I thought. Do something where it's not going to end up on live TV, but record something and put it up
Right,
there, because
give it
I
to
think that the fans would want to see it.
they could have put it on
I
their
just-
streaming channel.
Yeah,
There's definitely an audience for it.
I think we ought to reach out to a few of the contestants and ask them if they'll join us for a conversation. Then maybe we can talk to them about,
I'll give Michelle a
what
call
was
and let y'all
what
know.
was the edge really like? Was it posh beds? Was it like goose feather pillows and
They can't tell.
turn down service, chocolate mints? Anyway. All right, so we started with the battle back. Natalie had her 3 advantages that she
Advantages.
bought, and
That you
then
almost
got
blew.
tangled up in the rope.
Right, and
Got
that
ro-
goes back to the issue of me not liking, giving her so many advantages, because she was pretty bad in the challenge. She really struggled, and the only reason she won is because she had said advantages.
Yeah, she would have totally lost that. Now, who would have won? Was it Tice?
When Wendell was up, I
Wendell.
thought Wendell, because he got his first ball in first, so
That's
I
right.
really thought he was going to sneak in and earn his way back in.
Rob
Yeah.
was pretty close too.
Yeah.
And
Rob, this whole season, it was kind of a letdown that, we had all this build up for Rob to come back and play, and he really didn't do much. He had a little bit of you got a little bit of his action from the first couple of episodes, but that was it. And then he was like, he wasn't even on the show.
I mean, they showed him a lot on Edge, but again, like the first battle back, a few people had advantages, some didn't, and this one, Natalie had the 3, a couple of people had one advantage. It's just, I don't know. To me, it takes away a lot of the drama of a competition instead of it being a level playing field and everybody has a real chance to where, it would have been an upset if Natalie didn't win the challenge.
Yeah. And I mean, that kind of just brought the fire tokens into it and showed, I guess, why they were so important.
Yeah.
They were definitely more important on
Extinction Island, definitely.
Right.
So here's then, speaking of Extinction, do you like Extinction? Do you want it to come back? Or is now, all right, we've seen it twice and it's a failed experiment?
I don't necessarily say it's a failed experiment. I mean, this is my first experience with it, but I mean, I could do without it. You have somebody like Natalie that comes back and almost wins, who basically didn't play the game, just kind of sat there
Right.
on the beach, Although I was kind of pulling for her in a way too. It was kind of torn. Like I was like, wouldn't this be some shit if somebody who's got eliminated first came back and won the seasons of all seasons? I don't know. That would have been kind of.
But it wasn't that Chris or who was it at the first extension? That's what happened. He got
Yeah,
he voted out early,
right?
but he got voted out midway.
I think he got voted out after like 6 or 7 days, so it was fairly early.
Oh, it was that long ago.
Well, maybe he was like the 7th person voted out. So yeah, I guess more towards the middle.
And then,
but to have her do it on this season in particular, I think would have.
Yeah, but all right. But the point is, here's a player who didn't play most of the game, and all these other people grinded out and risk not winning because they've pissed off half the jury. So then you get somebody who not coasted, but you know what I mean, without the strategy of voting people out, and they come back, and both times that person made it to the final 3. And one of them won. The other one got it's not even close. Got a 2nd place. But, I mean, because all she had to do was she walked in with an immunity, and then she won the other immunities. I mean,
well, she found another idol,
yeah,
and then she won.
And then
she found another one, and then she won. So
she
look,
they didn't even have a chance to vote her out. She got 3 in a row, ding, 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 and I mean, so it's not even like she played like that, and that's why I'm glad Tony won, because even if she had come back and didn't get voted out without having immunity, she has a case to win. But the fact is that she didn't even have to try.
She did have to win. I mean, she did have to find the idol and have to win the challenge. So I give her credit for that. Like, look, I give her credit for sticking it out on the edge for over 30 days and getting back. I mean, she played, like she said, she played the hand was dealt, and she did what she could. I mean, she really, she didn't have to play the game like everybody else, but she fought. But I'm not a big fan of Extinction Island. I think when your torch gets snuffed, you're out.
I almost think if you do it to have the challenge earlier to come back into the game.
Well, that would be one thing too. Like the challenge should come back maybe like around the merge, where you could have some swing votes.
Yeah, when Tyson came in.
Yeah,
or you could
the merge where you got swing votes coming left and right. That's the way to do it. Or but it's too late in the game to do that.
Or just don't allow a person to accumulate advantages, because it really kind of screwed the people that were in the game and got voted out much later, like Jeremy and Nick and whoever. They didn't have a chance to earn any advantages at all. So they fought and had to strategize in the actual game itself for 30 days and then got voted out, and then they're instantly put at a huge disadvantage compared to all the people who got voted out a lot.
Right, but one could argue that they don't deserve those advantages because they had longer time in the game. So you trade gameplay for advantages.
I mean, you could do 2 like that, but so you do the first one, and then whoever wins gets back in, and everybody who didn't win, they're gone. And then you start
and then you have a second batch.
A second batch of players on Extinction Island.
Okay.
That way, nobody has too much of an advantage over anybody else.
Right.
That would make more sense to me. I could get behind, if they did something like that, I could at least give it a chance to see if it would work. Okay. But as currently constructed, I'm definitely not a fan.
All right. Any chat in the viewers or anything like that I'm missing? I don't know.
Not yet.
I haven't seen anybody. Please feel free to chat, everybody who's watching.
All right. So
shoot us questions, whatever.
Yeah. So
the huge.
Last week it wasn't populating on my studio. All right, so we go in through the battle. Okay, so she gets back in. We've talked about her ad nauseum.
Now they did, after the challenge, they did kind of interview a lot of those people.
Yeah.
Kind of, some people
to me took the place of the reunion.
Kind of like kind of like some of their
fast-forwarded through
farewell.
that.
You know, a couple people's farewell. Some of the older players, kind of like their farewell to the game, their thank you to the game. You know.
I hit the button. I hit the fast forward button.
Are you
during that part.
serious?
Oh, come on.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my
Look, I want to
Come
see the
on.
game. I don't want to see all the sappy shit. I
Boo.
want to see the game. Like
Boo.
I
Come
saw
on, man.
what they were doing.
It's-
They're like, oh, we're gonna have a retro. No, just
It's the
show me the
history of
game.
the game. You have to appreciate
Talk
the
to the
history of
hand.
the game.
I don't know. This is my first season since watching since like the
That's
second
why he didn't
season.
care for it.
That right?
But-
okay. Yes.
but-
That, that's all you had to say.
Jason, he doesn't even
No.
know these people.
Right.
He doesn't know who
But-
they are. They don't mean anything to him.
But I still have an appreciation for the game, not the people.
Right.
The
Well,
game.
you would understand. that
no,
these people,
no.
these people are icons in the game. That's like you saying you don't care about Drew Brees or you don't care about Walter Payton or you don't care about these are the best of the best. Earl Thomas, Mean Joe
There
Green.
You're comparing a sport to a reality show television.
Survivor's a sport.
There's
No.
athletic competition.
Dude, that's you literally just said the only thing you care about is the sport of it.
Right? No, I cared about the game. I care more about the strategy of it
Is
than
it sport a
the
game?
the challenges of it.
Oh, you don't care about the challenges? Yet you
The challenges
also
are part of
watch
the
Okay,
strategy.
so
challenge.
Monopoly's a game. Is that a sport?
Yes.
Oh, you're so full of shit.
You think I'm gonna like? No, I'm not gonna
Right.
agree. I'm not gonna lose this argument. No, I mean no. All right, so you don't know these people, so you don't. talk
and
about that.
and you say it's rigged. So you say it's rigged. So
yeah, just like the NFL,
I,
the two
touche.
rigged sports.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, you don't. You liked the tributes and the things.
Yeah.
That they have to say about each. I agree.
Yeah,
I got emotional.
Mhm.
I hope. Honestly, I would hope that we see some of those people play again.
What I'm wondering could happen because I'm curious to see how much longer Survivor can go on. You know, like
I don't know.
I mean,
how long can football go on?
I mean, at some point, Probst is going to be like, all right, I'm done. So maybe they can make it
I
to
mean, he's
season.
gonna die.
What I'm thinking, let's say they try to make it to an even 50 seasons. Let's say that's by the time they get down to it, their end goal
That's 5 more
is-
years. That's 5 more years.
right would be to get to season 50, and then that one you can bring back maybe not some of the older players 'cause at that point, I mean, they're going to be 50 years old.
Right, new All Stars. Yeah.
Right. I mean, or do you make it all? Do you do one final season with all winners again?
I don't think you do it 5 years from now. I think that's too soon. I think you do some sort of All Star action, maybe a runners up, or did they do a runner up? Second chances? I thought they did. Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
was
I mean,
called
they
Second
had,
Chances.
yeah, I don't think it was all runners up though.
Yeah.
Or maybe they could do like
think it was.
if like finalists who didn't win, so either second or third place. Maybe they
Yeah,
could do that.
yeah. So either way, okay. So who would you put from here in there? I would put.
Well, if
Sarah,
those are your
Lacina. I put Lacina.
well, if those are your parameters, if you're not taking any winners, then none of these people would make it back.
Oh,
If it was only second or third place.
but all right. So either way, I think Sarah Lacina deserves to play this game again. I think she deserves, and I'm not going because of the woke thing, Scott. I'm going because honestly, other than Tony, she was the second best player in this game.
I mean, I thought whoever won the fire challenge was going to win.
Absolutely.
And I really thought she had
deserved
it.
to be in that final, if not for the fire challenge. More than Michelle.
Do you think if she was in the final 3, that would have split votes and maybe, like, let's say Michelle built it against Tony and Tony won. So then you have Tony, Sarah, and
Natalie?
Natalie.
Ooh.
Do you think it would
I
have
think
split
Tony
votes?
still wins, but I think
I don't
I
know.
think Sarah gets all of Natalie's votes.
Maybe not
I don't know.
all. I think Natalie gets a couple votes. Sarah gets a few votes. I think Tony
Sarah might
narrowly edges out Sarah.
Yeah. But I think Sarah deserves to, if not play this game. Sometimes they'll bring them back as coaches or they'll bring them back as some kind of an element. I think she deserves to.
Hire.
I think
did
she
that one time,
deserves
but
Another
okay.
time. Well, remember that year they brought him into they had what was his name? Jonathan and somebody else, and they were on each tribe, but they were the only returners. That leader versus the other leader of a tribe, and they were put in there as that.
I mean, I guess
I mean, you can bring or you do the whole blood versus water where you bring former contestants with their loved. I mean, there's ways that
Right.
they can bring people back without it being an all-star season,
Hmm.
or you just give people a chance to get back in the game and let them play. And sometimes they do that for ratings, obviously.
You could bring them back as like, and I know y'all don't like the challenge, but they did have some time where they had these mercenaries come in, and they were former players, and they basically played in like an elimination game, and if they won, they got actually into the game.
Oh, okay. I like that. Big Brother did something like that, where they had them in as coaches who could not compete in the game, and then midway through they were like, "All right, we'll let them compete," and one of them gets in the game, or something like that.
Yeah.
I could see that. Either way, the tease for next season was, even
What
though
you
they
need?
couldn't show us, it sounded like Jeff alluded to maybe like teachers versus students. Did you catch that at the end, Jason?
I didn't catch it.
Yeah, he said something about, especially if you want to be like, are cool parents versus cool students or something. Because he said, apply for to be on the show, especially if you're 16, 17, or 18 years old.
I saw that. That's
Yeah, I saw
weird.
that. I
I'm
was
like,
gonna mention that.
And he said,
Yeah.
maybe we'll do some kind of cool parents versus cool students, is what he said. So I think that's a hint that next season or the season after might be a bit of a teenagers versus adults, which will be cool. I'd actually like to see that and see how they play differently.
I'd almost rather
But
see
I don't
just
wanna
all kids.
I don't want to see teenagers versus their parents. I want to see just random adults versus random teenagers.
I'd rather see just random teenagers. Like,
All
I don't want to. Yeah, all
the
teenagers.
Survivor. What was the name of that?
Hunger Games.
Well, no.
Just let them kill each
I think
other.
Lord of the
Last one.
Flies. Survivor.
Yeah.
Lord of the Flies or something. Yeah. All right. What happened next?
So you had your first, your
First tribal.
your first
The
immunity challenge,
woke moment.
which
Oh, go ahead.
Michelle, Michelle won the challenge. Jeff said she didn't belong to be there. She was behind all the way and then came back, won the puzzle, and got it.
Oh,
So now
yeah.
Natalie had
Yeah.
her idol, and
She
one
got
of the biggest,
flat.
and one of the biggest things was Tony thinking that Natalie probably had something, and it was crazy to see Ben and Sarah just say, "Nope, she doesn't," and
Right.
and just like that.
It's I was watching it and I was thinking at the time, it's almost like Tony's paranoia throughout the game played against him in that situation. Kind of like almost like the Chicken Little scenario. Like the whole game, he's like, the sky's falling, and never fell. And so by then, people are like, dude, you're just fucking
Everything's
losing it. You're crazy. You're
But he was
then- but
always.
he was right. He was dead
almost
on.
all the time. He was right on
Mm.
because of the whole spy thing.
Spy Nest.
He did know a lot of things that he wouldn't have known. So, but no one else knew, and they didn't know how he knew. So yes, he comes across as paranoid. He's so convinced. I'm telling you, this is what's going on. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And he comes
It-
off
it
as
was-
crazy.
It was, and we were watching it. And the second Sarah says that, I was like, oh man, like I thought Sarah was gonna get a boot. That for at that,
Get about what?
huh?
You said she was going to get a boot.
I thought, yeah, I
Get
thought
about
when
what?
she said once she said that,
I 100% guarantee Natalie doesn't.
right?
have
You
anything.
know who's in control? Sarah's in control. I'm like, no, you're.
Yeah,
getting
I was
voted out.
like, she's out. She's
Yeah,
gone. As soon as
yeah.
she said that, I was like, oh shit, she's gone.
Right.
And-
But she didn't, and it's
Yeah, then
crazy. It's
we had
really
our
crazy
woke
that
tribal.
the way it ended up. If they would have just thrown their votes on Denise, she would have gone out. They would have saved their two idols. And at the end of the day, Denise went home anyway.
And so so Natalie flushed all those idols out that way.
We all
Yeah, She did a
surprised.
good job of flushing out those.
We all
idols.
surprised that Natalie and Michelle both voted for Denise, and they didn't try to.
They voted for Ben.
They did. They went for Ben first.
Well, they
They-
first. I'm talking about the revote. They
Oh.
could have tried to go for a 2-2 tie, and instead they went along with the group. I mean, to me, they kind of needed to keep Denise in
what-
the game.
What would that have done for them?
I mean, they would have had a tiebreaker
A fire challenge,
between.
right?
Is that what it?
Yeah, he explained
said
it. If
he
they would have had
explained it.
another
That's
tie, it would
That's
have been
right,
a fire
that's right.
challenge.
So you would have fire challenge between either.
And it would
So
probably would have been
yeah,
right
it
then
would've-
and there. They wouldn't
it
have
would've
had a
just been
chance
fair.
to practice or anything.
Right.
Right. So I mean, they could have had a chance to keep Denise around. Let's say they boot either.
Yeah, because I think if they would have found a way to get Sarah out at that point, Denise might have swung over to their side.
Right, or
Although
even
it
Tony.
didn't matter. It still doesn't matter. It
Well,
still
if-
didn't
if-
matter. because
I mean, if
she won the next challenge and she chose who fought the fire against each other. I mean, it was pretty. Oh no, it was the Sarah Ben vote.
right. So like if they could have booted either Sarah or Tony, then you're looking at Michelle, Natalie, and Denise as the threesome with Ben and either Tony or Sarah as the minority, and they could have gone that way. And it just didn't make any sense to me.
I think Denise still would have probably voted with Sarah and Tony.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
But-
There's no way to tell.
But either
Because
yeah,
we don't
but
have
either-
a reunion special for Jeff to ask the scenario.
right.
So I mean, I was sitting there watching the that first tribal, and I DVR'd it. I was watching it kind of late at night, watching it. And all of a sudden, like I thought my channel switched to like CNN, and it was like all this left women's lib shit going on, and I was like, what the hell is going on
come
here?
on,
What is this?
Come on.
Alright,
all
you
right.
It was a
too
little.
far.
It was a little.
Yeah.
It was a little much.
Well, first of all, what
I mean, it took like a good 20 minutes to like. Sit
It wasn't
there.
20 minutes.
Jeff had to do that as well because, Scott, again, if you had watched previous seasons, the last couple of seasons, Survivor took a few shots to the bow over some woke issues, the issues of sexual
But-
equality, gender
But
equality.
was it that race
and
issue,
race
not general?
equality. It was both. They had issues
Okay.
on both of them, and Jeff himself didn't come out looking the best at the time, and I think in the show itself was accused by some of the fans for being tone deaf. So I really do believe that this was their opportunity to try and repair some of that and let the world know that just like and I thought it was okay for Jeff to say even like this is what do we say about this is a game that is it's a tough game, but it's also a game of personal growth and self-discovery, and even the show itself and Jeff himself did. Did he go on a little long? Maybe it got a little testimonial, but again, this is a show that holds a mirror up to society, and it is a show that sparks good social conversation, right, about social issues, because you can have a podcast like this, and then you're talking about the social issues. The fans can discuss these types of things as they're seeing it played out on the island.
Sarah mentioned, when a woman plays sneaky or does, things to stab people in the back, they're labeled as a bitch or whatever she said. But if a guy does it, they're like awesome. They're playing the game well. But now being I haven't watched it in a long time, but I do remember the first season with Richard Hatch, who was very sneaky and slimy.
Going all the way back 40 seasons ago.
But I mean, everybody hated him. So I don't necessarily know that that's true. Like,
Did everybody? I don't know that everybody hated him.
most people thought he was
watched for 40 years.
Yes,
Right.
most people thought he was kind of just a snake kind of guy and called him out on it, even on the show. I just don't.
She called him a rat.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't necessarily think that it's necessarily a man-woman issue. I just think I don't look at it as
I would agree.
maybe some people do look at it at that, and I'm sure she got some kind of feedback or flack, but that's not the way I see it. I see it as a player-by-player issue. I don't see it
Yeah.
black, white, man, woman. I don't see it that way, and maybe that's me
On
being-
that, I agree, and I
Yeah,
think
whatever, but-
that more than anything, that's probably more Sarah's world and Sarah's head and her psyche.
Maybe some reactions to when she won her
it
last game.
says it says more about her outlook on life itself. Like she feels like, and again, she's a female cop. She
A cop,
might
right. I was
know a
about to
lot
say,
of that in her
know.
real life.
I imagine she does.
Ascribing that to when people call her a dirty player, she's going ahead and saying, "Oh, you're just saying that because I'm a female, because everything else is a whole male-female issue for me." Where yes, a fan like us might look at it and say, "No, I'm not calling you dirty. Because you're a girl. I'm calling you dirty because you're dirty, because you backstabbed Tony in that season, and she never lived that down." And so now she's like, okay, now I'm okay with it. I own it, and I don't have to feel bad about it. But I really think that more than anything, that was her guilt of betraying Tony, which is why she couldn't bring herself to do it this year
Right.
until she did Ben when she got the permission from Ben.
Yeah, she got permission. I don't think she would have done it without permission from Ben.
Now that moment was also very touching. I gotta tell you. I got emotional whenever he was pretty much laying himself on the line for her and saying, and that's talk about personal growth for Ben. He's coming out and saying, that he acknowledged that his season that he won, he just burned through winning challenges. He didn't
Winning challenges and finding idols. Ben
Yeah.
bombs.
Ben bombs. There you go. And
Mhm.
this time he came to that realization: I don't need to win this game. I'd rather come out of this with that social growth and the friendships. That's more valuable than the $2 million. How do you
Well, I
feel
wonder
about
some
that,
of it.
Jason?
Well, some of it too also could have been that, he, towards the end of the game, he seemed pretty exhausted. I mean, even at some of the tribal councils before, he definitely seemed to. He mentioned that, just the game just takes a toll, and he's tired. And also at that point, he's probably looking around saying like,
There's no way I
if
win.
I go to the end with Sarah and Tony, he couldn't win. Like there was no way that he was going to win the game anyway. So at least he could.
I don't know. He could have split
by
votes, like I said. I
no,
mean,
no,
could
he
have split
wouldn't.
votes.
It wouldn't
guess
have
a lot
not
of
like
people didn't
dragged,
like him.
They dragged him along, and yeah, he didn't have as many friends as you think he did.
right. So if it's the threesome in the finals, there's no way. Like he may not even get any votes. So he
Like
used
Michelle.
this as A, I can't win anyway, and then B, by me allowing Sarah to do this, it gives Sarah something on her resume to kind of
Yeah.
oust
To
Ben.
fight. Which would have. I mean, at the end of the day, that could have been the difference between her getting more votes. But it was great of him to do that. He redeemed himself in my eyes because I liked him in his season, even the Ben bombs. I liked all that. I liked him at the beginning of this season, I think. And maybe it was like episode 1. I was like, "What the heck are you doing?" Oh no, I liked him in 1. Episode 2, he started to dip a little bit. But he totally redeemed himself. So that was pretty sacrificial, pretty awesome. And then there's Tony in the spy nest. Dude, Tony's faces in the spy nest when they were when she showed the thing, you saw his eyes. He was like, "Wee!" Dude, the spy nest worked. And Sarah, with her cop skills, she saw some weird looking shape in the
Yeah.
bomb.
I wonder if she would have told her. I don't think she would have told her if she hadn't seen it.
No,
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely not.
No.
Sarah called her
Yeah.
out on it. Was like, "What's that? Nothing."
Like,
But-
why would she have it stuffed under there? Like, there had to have been a better place to put it.
I mean, maybe not. Like you don't want to put it in your bag. Somebody could go through your bag.
Put it in
There's
your
really no place
crotch.
I mean,
Or in your bra. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
but-
not if it's skin tight. You're gonna see the outline of it or something.
right.
And she was more muscle than anything else, so there wasn't much. You didn't have a lot of room like in the middle to hide it either.
Now, like I can hide it in my belly. She doesn't have that.
That's right. She didn't have a belly fold to tuck it under.
Now, I mean, I know the Spy Shack. I know the Spy Shack was fun and all, but I mean, even without the Spy Shack,
He still would've
Sarah
known.
would have.
Yeah.
Sarah would have told him that she had it, but the Spy Shack was just so entertaining.
Would she though?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were in it together till the end,
Okay.
till they couldn't go no more.
So, all right. Well, then I still love the spy nest. I love that it worked out. I love him telling the jury about it too. And everybody's laughing about him doing it. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. He had the initial
I'm
Spy
gonna go
Shack
to a
worked. His spy bunker in that last season did not work. He got voted out quick, and then
Nest.
back to the spy nest.
Spy nest worked. That was pretty awesome.
Such an entertaining fucking player, man.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm glad Tony. If it wasn't gonna be Rob, like Tony's the new, like Rob is your old, out, and Tony's the new generation, Rob.
Mhm.
And the funny, it's like Rob and Tony. It's the simplest, names. It's the Northeastern.
Right.
Are they both from Boston? Where's Tony from?
New York or
Okay.
New Jersey.
Oh,
Maybe New
great. So
Jersey.
you got the Jersey and the Boston
Right.
rivalry now.
I was
Okay, so do you bring Sandra and Tony back to compete?
Cops Are Us, baby.
No, Sandra. The queen.
Sandra.
Oh.
King versus Queen.
I don't
No.
think I think Sandra's done. I mean, what
Yeah,
else does she
I
have to
don't
prove?
think so. Sandra loves this game. And she,
Yeah, but I think
I
she's
like-
done.
I wonder if you could have them like where they have have separate teams and they coach throughout the season
You mean
their
like last
particular. Well, not necessarily on. Was that just on
year?
Extinction
But
Island?
it wasn't coaching team.
It wasn't Extinction Island. It was just a separate island where they.
I'm just
Pick
saying
somebody
they.
to go to exile, and when they get to exile, they meet these two coaches who coach them. I see what you're saying, where Rob has a team, Sandra has a team, but they're not competing.
Tony.
Right,
That-
right.
See, the Freudian-
Yeah. I always got Rob on the brain.
Ambush.
I mean, you could either have it pre-assigned or when they come up, maybe sit there and let them, as they come
Pick who they
up,
want.
and
Or
then
just
pick
let them
who
live
they
on
want.
the live on the thing with them. They're there at the camp. They're coaching them the whole time.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And they're there. They're just not. You're not voting them out because they can't. They're not eligible to compete. They don't even compete in the challenges. They're just there to coach.
They're just there to coach.
Right. Give them a headset and a clipboard,
Hmm.
and let them coach.
A visor.
Yeah. I mean, think about Tony coaching versus Sandra coaching.
But it's a good place for a spy nest.
I don't know though, because Tony coaching, like, you can't coach the whole tribe. He's got to coach like certain players.
Yeah, you got to coach who you think will win.
Yeah, you got to almost pick players.
Or you just sit there and just let anybody. If anybody wants to pick your brain, anybody can come do it.
Just sit there eating coconuts.
He's just sitting there on his
Right.
throne. Come on, who wants to
I'm
talk?
the king.
Mhm.
His spy throne.
Oh God.
The spy throne. I love it.
Uh,
So Tony the Tiger won.
so I was surprised
Well,
that he
did
was the
y'all-
first eliminated in the final challenge
Who? What now?
with the ball
With the balls.
the final challenge with the balls running around the hoops. I was, I didn't know that he'd
Off
win,
the
but I thought he'd
ground.
last a little longer.
I was surprised Natalie. Like, I mean, I'm glad she won. I did not want Michelle to win that challenge.
I really did want Michelle to win that challenge.
Why?
Just to fuck with you.
And at the end of the day, she
I mean,
would have
she made the final
still
three
said
anyway.
like Tony and Sarah were always going to go to the fire challenge if
Yeah.
So.
And like I said, I really thought Sarah had it when she had that fire built up pretty high, but she had used that straw and it burned
Yeah.
out quick.
I've seen that too many times. You get that. You cannot rely on the husk to get
initial
it to there.
burst.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's gotta be
the husk is
sustainable.
going to burn out. That's right.
Yeah.
Slow and steady. Always
But-
wins. That ever.
I mean,
I've seen
even-
that too many times.
But even despite that, this was probably the closest fire making challenge that there was. Even with that, she still was able to build her fire back up, and Tony
Well, it was nice
methodically
to see
built
both
his.
of them have legitimate fires. Like usually, yes, you see it where one person's got the fire, the other person still hadn't even lit something.
I'm still
Embarrassing.
trying to get some magnesium on here.
I've run out of magnesium and husk. I don't have anything left. Yeah. So whatever. All right, then you got the interview. How'd you feel about this interview session? I expected more of I expected a longer interview session from the jury, and I expected more from it.
You think it was edited? Like they probably
Well,
had more and
absolutely.
just.
Oh yeah, 100%. They've
Everything.
got a ton of content there.
They usually, I mean, I've read that like the general tribal council is not even the final, is like 2 hours long, and they edit that down. So imagine how long this would be.
I mean, the one thing you could say is that with everybody on the jury being a winner and being an experienced and savvy player, there's not as many that are going to get bitter over things. They all understand what the game is.
Jeremy was
No.
pretty bitter.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Right?
But then he voted for Tony anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but it did seem more just like a celebration and congratulation of the three there, and kind of like as the season as a whole. Which,
Yeah.
in this day and age, I don't think you're going to get as many fireworks at these late tribal councils anymore.
especially
I
not
think-
from all winners either.
Right, well, especially not that, but even in general, I think people kind of understand the nature of the game, and you don't allow your feelings. Your feelings don't get hurt. It's a fucking game.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But what I like is sometimes when they ask him like, explain what went into that decision when you did that pivotal moment or something like that. And I don't know that we got a whole lot of that. We just got kind of like broad stroke resume. I did enjoy Wendell candy coating the question to Michelle, which is like, you didn't deserve your first win. Why do you think you deserve this one? Because you pretty much played the same game. But instead he asked her in a nice. Or you could tune in to watch, Larry Coe and Murley.
Maryland going-
Larry Coe and Murley.
right.
And Shemp, don't forget Shemp.
And sometimes.
Yeah,
Joe,
that
there was a
yeah,
Joe.
I mean that definitely plays a part in it for sure, and that's kind of why you like the seasons where they're earning players coming back, even though more than likely they're not gonna make it to the end because all these new
Right.
players are gonna vote them out. That was the nice twist of, well, everybody has won, so it's not like even in past seasons when a winner has come back, well, they just vote the winner out first because they won already. They don't need.
The stars emerge out of those
You got to
situations.
find some
Right.
new all
Your
stars
Cochran.
for season 50.
I mean, I'm surprised. Cochran won once, didn't he? Didn't
Yeah, he
Cochran
did.
win?
He did.
I'm surprised they didn't get him.
Well, I mean, they asked him, and
They
he didn't
probably
want
asked
to come
him.
back. It was probably wise for him to hang it up because after the performance he had in his second go around, like it was still surprising that he won. Like, I mean, what else do you have to prove?
I think just love of the game.
Yeah. Well, some people are just different. But I was reading that some people got asked, said no. Some people didn't even get asked at all, and who would have played. But
Richard Hatch did not get asked.
no, definitely not.
Rudy did not get asked. Oh, Rudy
didn't win. Yeah. So I mean, I think
he's
it.
dead.
Oof. Ghost Island. So I thought it was a good mix of players. Some strong personalities, and even some of these under the radar players that, oh yeah, they won Survivor, but maybe not as memorable, but they did show out pretty well this season.
Yeah.
Somebody like Sophie, I was really impressed with the way she played until she got blindsided. I mean, even Michelle, as much as you dislike her, she played 79 days and never got voted out. I mean, that has to say something.
Yeah, it says you flew under. You were not a threat. You were not. Nobody even respected you enough to even consider playing this game with you or voting you out. Like, that's the thing. It's like you didn't even have an alliance. But I will say, in her one nice thing I will say about her is what she understood why she wasn't going to win, and then that was her mistake, right? Where I had a bunch of one-on-one, Tony, Ben, Sarah, Denise, they all had groups.
They had their group that could
right.
advance.
She tried to play a mercenary game, and that's it.
Yeah.
You can't play like that. So okay, I'll give her credit. She played the game. Important.
Gonna play that bad if she got to the final
right?
three.
She didn't play that bad. She made it.
It's always a
lot of other
fish.
people would have much rather been sitting there instead of her,
Right.
and they couldn't make it.
Yeah, just keep hiding behind the big fish, I guess.
But I overall, I look back at the season and it was just a joy to watch every week. Just incredibly enjoyable. I was kind of happy every episode, even if it wasn't the best or whatever. It's just that little bit of familiarity,
Yeah.
So what do y'all think? It won't be probably till next year till we get another season.
I mean, it sounds like they're, as of now, I was reading an article.
Oh, I thought he said.
I thought he said fall.
I don't know.
So they're still trying now. Who knows when they can actually film anything?
Right.
Well, they apparently.
Unless that's for the second season, because they usually film 2 seasons back to back, so that could be for the second one they're going to film. Like maybe they have cast this one and just can't go out and film it yet.
Yeah, maybe so. Huh.
Maybe they'll just say, "All right, everybody, back on the island. Winners at War 2."
Right. You're not leaving.
Right.
Your families, they didn't leave either, so let's grab some of them and put them in the game.
Everybody here. Yep. We were all quarantined.
All wearing masks. I can't see anybody's face.
So some concepts that I have liked that I wouldn't mind seeing them bring back, even some iteration of, was like the blood versus water, how they brought former players back and they played against their relatives. I like that. But again, not kids. It's not Survivor kids. These are 16, 17, 18-year-old tribes, and then merge them and see how they interact with each other. They're out there.
YouTube, Wi-Fi.
You would have to go to like Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi,
you would have
Alabama, Kentucky. You have to get some country boys out there and country girls.
So what's y'all's
Tweak it.
Yeah.
More important in
the okay, let me go and just
I mean,
counter argue for the counter argument's sake. Not that I agree or disagree. Is if you make them too valuable, then you take away the value of playing a good game. I mean, at the end of the day, Survivor should still always be about outwit, outplay, outlast, not
part of the outwit
not
part.
outspend.
Well, no, I mean have it to where you outwit people to get their fire tokens, so you can buy an advantage later. You know what I'm saying?
I could see you go out there hunting for powers, that instead of finding a power, you find tokens, or you find a parchment that says you can buy this power for X amount of tokens. And if you don't have it, you can hold on to that parchment until you earn enough tokens by winning challenges, or how
you can maybe sell it to somebody else
or
too.
sell it to somebody. Yeah, like so.
Yeah.
Make don't make the because right now Edge was really the bank. The bank of Survivor. Let the island be the bank of Survivor. You go out there and you find stuff, and you have to pay a token.
Like once a
Which
person
you
gets
should.
voted out, they're voted out.
The powers, I really love now that there are so many diverse powers out there that now it's like playing Monopoly. You brought that up, Scott. You pick like the community chest card, the chance card, and it's like, what power am I gonna get this time? 50-50?
Oh no, this is extortion, bro.
And then I'm being extorted. Yeah, like you got all the different options for powers, which I love that. But then you still have the classic idol, or classic immunity. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the evolution of this game. And I think that's part of why this game is still on 40 years or 40 seasons in. And I think that it was a good enough season that it bought them at least another year, if not two. And I don't know that Survivor's really in jeopardy of getting canceled. I haven't read anything that says that it is. I think it's doing well enough.
I know that the ratings did really well this year. Now some of that's obviously to the return, the returning winners and the familiarity. But it does fairly well, considering TV ratings aren't what they used to be. But it's going to get to the point where, like, how much longer do you think Probst is going to want to keep doing this?
I think Probst does this as long as he's able to. Probst, when he knows these people, he was so happy this year. He loves their job. Survivor, the company, is probably a great culture. Like they all. I mean, think about it. You're working in Fiji or wherever in the middle of an island, and you get to make cool challenges, and you get to come up with new ways to play a game. I mean, I think they love this game. He loves it. It comes across in the way he hosts, in the way he talks, in the live streams. I think Jeff Probst will do this as long as he's allowed to do it, which is forever because he owns the show. Isn't he like the main executive producer now? It's his show.
Yeah, maybe at this point, yeah, he's been on it so long, yeah.
Yeah, and Grant, I don't know how old is he? 50, you think?
Oh, I think he's probably at least, he's got to be in his 50s.
You could do that. He doesn't do anything but stand there and talk. He could do it till he's 65, 75. Could you see an old Jeff Probst? Like Bob Barker?
He's 58.
He's 58. Wow.
58, right?
I think he could do it till at least 65 to 68. 10 more years.
Okay.
And then, you know what you end up doing? You bring one of these all-star celebrity people to come in and
be the new host.
Yep.
Rob.
You bring Rob to come in and host the show,
or Tony.
Rob comes in. I can't quit you, Survivor.
I actually don't think they would bring Rob or Tony to host the show. I don't see either of them being a good host. I don't know. That's an interesting question. Which former contestant
who would be the best replacement?
Would make a great, and it's got Tyson.
I think Tyson could be pretty good. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be a winner either.
No, but I think it's got to be a big name in Survivor.
Y'all naming all men. I don't understand. Why aren't you naming like Sandra?
Sandra wouldn't be a good host.
No, she wouldn't.
How do you know?
Because she walked away from the game. This would make a good host if she would do something with her hair.
Elizabeth.
I'm looking for somebody like a Jeff who I don't buy that from Elizabeth. I think Elizabeth would make it.
Oh,
there's everything else.
CBS.
He might own CBS by then.
It'd be Jim Brown. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
It'll be Denise. I say. You say. I say.
Gotta do the special man. The job is spoken.
That would be great.
Final thoughts.
Let me go first, Jason, because I know you're. I did enjoy this season very much. As y'all know, I haven't watched it in a long time. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed getting to meet the players again that I remember and the new ones that I never known. I am a fan again. I'll watch next season. And whatever season's on after that. So it hooked me. So I'm in. It was a good season.
Yeah, overall I really enjoyed. Like I said, I was happy to be sitting and watching this season of Survivor every week. But it's funny, Scott just mentioned how this hooked him. Watching this season, it reminds me of the very first season that I ever watched was season 8, the very first All-Star season.
Yep.
And I guess kind of like Scott, it's like I didn't really know who any of these people were. Like I know, a lot of these people had only played once at that point, but I didn't really know who any of these people were. But
they were good players. So
they were
good. A good experience.
Right. They were good players. I enjoyed watching that season, and I've watched every season since that one. I actually
You
have the
remember
DVD.
me and Blaine constantly telling you to watch Survivor. You need to watch Survivor, and you're like, I'm not watching that crap.
Look, I remember there was one year where we did a Survivor fantasy league, and my goal was to try to win it without watching a single episode. But I actually do have the DVD of that All-Star season somewhere tucked away. That's how much it hooked me, like I said. And I've
Rupert, man, remember Rupert?
Yeah, Rupert was. Yeah, it was a.
Yep.
It was.
Sandra
very,
won
very-
that. Was that the one Sandra won or Rob?
Amber.
Amber, that's right.
I mean, Rob should have won, but the jury was.
Well,
pissed
like
at him.
Amber said last night, I never should have won that Amber
Yeah,
because he did win once later.
he did. Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, that is all the show we have for you right now. We're going to thank our loyal listeners for downloading each week and telling all of your friends about the Dome Patrol United podcast. Follow us on Twitter for daily conversation at Dome Patrol US and at Dome Patrol UK. Like us on Facebook to watch live broadcasts. Subscribe on YouTube to watch or to listen as an alternative to your podcast app, which we're on all of them. And if you want to listen to us the old-fashioned way, there's Dome Patrol Podcast.
.com.
Say bye-bye, donkeys.
Bye bye, winners at War Donkeys.
The tribe has spoken.